on Saturday night, I did Michael J. Fox's charity, the Fox Foundation. I did a benefit for them. One of the coolest gigs I've ever got to do in my life. I show up, right? First of all, it's Michael J. Fox, right? I mean, that guy's comedic timing. You know, like when they say somebody has like perfect pitch when they go to sing or whatever. I always felt like, you know, grew up watching him on Family Ties and, of course, all the Back to the Future movies. And his timing was just like, was impeccable, right? And it makes it look really easy. But just as a fan of comedy and everything, I always loved the guy. So I realized I was going to get to meet him. And I show up to the gig, and I'm always nervous whenever I have to do a benefit because it's a benefit. People are going to be in this, you know, they're going to be in a certain mindset where it's just like, you know, wow, I'm really lucky that, you know, I'm healthy. I have my family, blah, 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 blah. And these other people are going through this really difficult thing. There's a sense of like guilt that you feel. Just all of that type. It just puts the crowd in a certain mood where then all of a sudden they go from laughing to everything that you say is just like, oh, ooh, boo, you know? Those are the sounds I usually hear at benefits. So I'm always a little apprehensive. And in my head, I'm sitting there going like, all right, how can I navigate this situation? Because there's what I want to talk about, and then there's what I should talk about just to get through this, right? So I show up, and one of the first people I saw was Eugene Merman, who I hadn't seen in a while, and I was so relieved to see another comedian. I was just like, oh, thank God. So we both were just sort of laughing, talking about how, all right, it's a benefit. How is this, what's going to happen? How is this one going to go down? Hopefully this is going to be good. And as I was talking to him, I heard this amazing band playing in the background. I was like, it sounded so good. I'm like, is that live? That's unreal. But we were back in the green room. I was like, I got to check them out. And right as I went to go out, this like guy comes walking by. He goes, "Hey, Bill Burr, how you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I've seen your stuff, man. You're funny." I said, "Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it." I go, "Look at you. You're dressed all sharp." I'm like, "Are you going up tonight?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, what do you do? You a comedian?" He goes, "Nah." He goes, "I play a little guitar." You know, and I love musicians. I'm like, holy shit, man. You playing a band? That's fucking great, right? Turned out that guy was Brad Paisley. I'm old. I don't know who the kids are, right? I have no fucking idea. He went on in the end and was one of the greatest entertainers I've seen in a long fucking time. He goes, I play a little guitar, right? Shreds. Absolutely shreds on guitar. Amazing voice. I said to him after, because I felt like an asshole that I didn't know who he was, but I'm old, you know? I mean, we'll be 50 next year, right? I'm loving turning 50. Now this is when you start to have excuses. I'm 50, I don't know things. I said to him, I said, you know what I love about you country guys? All you guys, you can play. You know, I'm not into all the country music, but they can fucking play and they can sing. And it reminds me of hair metal. As much as people trash me for listening to that, those guys could play and they could sing. They could do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it, right? So anyways, I'm hearing all this band. So I go, I got to go check these guys out, right? After like the third song I heard. So I go to walk out there to see the band playing, and I look there, and I'm looking at the drummer. This is giant, like, you know, banquet room, and I'm just looking at the drummer, and I just fucking staring at him for like 5 seconds in disbelief. And I look at the woman next to me who was working for the foundation. I was like, is that Steve Jordan? She goes, yeah, he's like really good. I'm like, really good? He's one of the greatest fucking drummers of all time. This is like a bucket list for me to ever see this guy play live. I couldn't believe it. My jaw was on the ground. Like, you got to understand, like, I've been listening to Steve Jordan since, like, I guess when I first started watching Letterman. And I didn't even realize at that point that he played on those Blues Brothers albums. Then I discovered those. I even bought the second Blues Brothers album, Made in America, that nobody bought. I have all of that shit, all of his Keith Richards expensive wino shit. I watched him on with the Letterman band. I go on YouTube. There's a fusion album that he put out. What the fuck was the name of that band? I can't find the album anywhere where he's really young. playing on that one. Way busier than he plays on a lot of other stuff. Right through all the John Mayer stuff, and I was always thinking, okay, when John Mayer comes to town with his trio, I'm definitely going to go see that, and I'll finally get to see Steve Jordan playing live, switching out the snares and all of that. It's his whole thing that he does, that it's just so incredible. But every time John Mayer would come to L.A., I would always be on the road, and I'd always miss it. So I actually got to see him play, and so anyways, I'm sitting there at the banquet thing, and I meet Michael J. Fox, and he's just like the nicest guy ever. Him and his wife, just a couple of sweethearts, just one of those amazing couples too, both good-looking people, and then they form, when they get together, they form an even more amazing person, And I'm sitting there, and I'm literally nervous, like I'm a brand new comic. Whenever I do benefits, I get like that nervous because I've had some that have not gone well. I've done some Christmas parties. It's the reason why I don't do Christmas parties. I don't do private gigs, which are basically rich people or rich companies or something get together, and they will literally hire anyone from fucking U2 all the way down to some no-name comic like I was back when I used to do those fucking things. And you would go up there and nobody would know that there was a show. And the last one I did, they had me go up. I was in a restaurant, and these people had rented out the restaurant, and everybody was eating and talking. And I went up there, and no one was listening, and I got defensive. So my already angry material back then was coming off even angrier, and people just literally stopped eating, were just sort of staring down at their plates. And I tried every trick that I knew in the book to turn it around, and I couldn't do it. And I just fucking bombed. I ruined their dinner. I ruined at least that part of it. And I just walked out of there with my agent at the time. And God bless him, he had to listen to me walk 12 blocks with him with absolute Tourette's. Just going I am never fucking doing one of those fucking things again. Who the fuck brings somebody up when everybody's fucking eating? I did that. I was going KC Kasem, and I was supposed to go in and talk about a fucking dog dying, right? I went into that mode, But by the end, after 12 blocks, by the end of it, we were both laughing. And I was just like, should we give them their money back? That was fuck, I feel bad. That's the real reason why I was flipping out. I was embarrassed. And then I also felt like I stole money because I just wasn't the guy for that gig. It should have been somebody who was happy with themselves. All right. So anyways, let's get on with the... I'll finish telling the story. So anyways, fortunately, the great Dennis Leary was hosting this event, and he went up and immediately turned it into a comedy show. He was up there doing what he does, and he dropped, a couple of F-bombs, and then with every joke he told, I got more and more and more and more relaxed. And I was like, all right, thank God. And then I went up on stage, and I just fucking went off and told all these, I don't know. I did all those stories, telling all those fucking stories of all the shit that women have done to me. And at first, people didn't want to laugh, and then they just started laughing because sexual misconduct. Like I said to a guy, I'm agreeing with this. It's kind of funny. It's not right, but it is. It's funny. And at first they were like, "What the fuck?" And then they just sort of went with it, and then all the rest of my shit just flowed. And I ended up having one of my favorite sets I've had in such a long time. And then in the end, I got to watch this new great musician that I wasn't aware of, Brad Paisley, playing with Steve Jordan's band. And then in the end, they brought Michael J. Fox out, and they all played Johnny Be Good. I mean, I was just standing there going, how the fuck is this my life? It was amazing. And I just ended up having, then it just turned out it was also the New York Comedy Festival, so all these guys were in town. I got to run into Brian Regan, who just played Carnegie Hall, hanging out with him. I just had the best I had the best fucking night. And the great New York run here continues, where tomorrow I'm going to be on Inside the NFL. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. God knows I haven't watched nearly as much NFL football as I would have liked this year. I just got so busy with the cartoon and my little acting gig there. Oh, Bill, what do you think? You're an actor now? Every once in a while I am.